The Pittsburgh Steelers are such an embarrassing team. It's 6:30 in the morning, I got work in an hour, and this is the second time in a row where we had to stay up late just to see the Steelers get embarrassed. They lost 35-25 last night to the Green Bay Packers. Packers are a good team, but I thought so are we. You know, it's home game, it's prime time, it means a lot. Aaron Rodgers facing the Packers for the first time since he left. We got our throwback uniforms on. While I don't think they're the nicest, I think they're pretty cool and unique. Let's see if the Steelers could actually win a big primetime game for once. They start off good, thanks to Chris Boswell being our whole offense in the first half. Then our defense just gets shredded. Our secondary, Swiss cheese, Jordan Love, and the Packers had 21 points in the fourth quarter. This is just getting bad. This is our mid-season. I would even say mid-season at this point. It's usually after the bye week that we start to collapse. This time, we had the earliest bye week in the NFL this year, and we start to collapse after that. That's what we see in years prior. Around the bye week, we start to collapse. And it's embarrassing, especially this year, because we have a lot of talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and we're giving up 35 yards. We're giving up 360 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love's a good quarterback, but we did the same thing to Joe Flacco last week. And guess what happened to the Bengals and Joe Flacco yesterday? They lost to the Jets. The Jets, a team who had no wins this year. But don't forget, we did go down to the wire, tooth and nail with the Jets week 1. That's just what the Steelers are. Our run game pretty quiet. Jalen Warren only 62 yards after having some pretty good games lately. Roman Wilson, glad to see him actually get involved. 4 receptions, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Had a pretty good touchdown catch at the end of the game when it really didn't matter. We need to continue to get DK Metcalf the ball. Only 5 receptions is just not good enough. He needs to be getting 7 to 8 receptions. He needs to be getting 3 receptions a quarter. We need to be getting DK Metcalf the ball. When we do, he's physical receiver. He's going to get yards. He had that touchdown yesterday. Good catch, contested catch. We got to get DK Metcalf the ball. I understand it is frustrating that we can't throw the ball downfield. A big reason why is we just don't have the depth at wide receiver. I've been saying this. You guys, I'm sure, know when we have only really DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin out there along with 3 tight ends, it's really hard to get the spacing downfield. It just is. We got to trade for a receiver. We need to trade for a receiver if we want to have any chance at competing. We need to be able to let Aaron Rodgers throw the ball more than 15 yards. All right, if this was Kenny Pickett at quarterback, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, I understand that, but it's Aaron Rodgers we're talking about. We need to allow him to throw over 15 yards. He's a dangerous quarterback when he does that. Defensively, it's just embarrassing. One of the highest paid, I'm pretty sure the highest paid defensive team in the NFL, and we can't do anything. Listen, I got to talk about TJ Watt. He's been quiet lately, and I understand that. I still think he deserves the money. I still think he's one of the best edge rushers in the league. Definitely the best defensive player on the Steelers still. But he's been quiet. But another thing I want to mention is, even when we had a prime TJ Watt, like think of 2021, 2022, 2023. Think of a prime TJ Watt when he was leading the league in sacks. What were the Steelers doing at the time? They were still going 1 and out in the playoffs. They were still being this mediocre team. So even if TJ Watt comes out of nowhere and gets 1 or 2 sacks a game again, what are the Steelers really going to do about it? Really nothing, all right? So no matter how good TJ Watt plays, how do the Steelers treat him? How do the Steelers perform? We do better, but what happens? We still end up around the 9-8, 10-7, and first round playoff loss anyway. So I don't want to hear all this TJ Watt hate. I don't want to hear this Cam Hayward hate, because even when they do good, where do we go? We don't get no playoff wins. We don't beat no big teams anyway. So I don't want to hear any bashing towards TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, things like that. It's just embarrassing. We got to put the pressure on the coaches. All right. I mean, Mike Tomlin, I've been not a big fan of him for a while now. Ever since the 2021 Browns game, playoff loss, I've been not a fan of him. I mean, mediocre Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since Obama was president. He's an overrated coach. Why fans continue to protect him is beyond me. His coaching style is outdated. Is he a good guy? Yes. Is he good enough to win playoff games and get us to the Super Bowl? No. He's an outdated coach. His system is outdated. It's old. We need to move on. Steelers fans need to accept this. Rooney needs to accept this. But he's going to end up staying there until he decides to leave or retire. And that's why the Steelers are never going to get anywhere with Mike Tomlin. I promise you that. And I'd love for people to argue about this still. We haven't won a playoff game in 8 to 9 years. We're 0-6 in our last 6 playoff appearances. Tomlin has not won a playoff game since Obama was president. I'd love to hear you defend that. Offensively, our play calling is not terrible. It's better than last year, but we got to get things going downfield. Defensively, we need to fire Austin. Our defense is way too good to be giving up these amount of points and yards. But you know how Tomlin is. He hires guys and keeps them on way too long than they need to be, and it hurts the team. We're not going to see Austin fired probably at all this year. And that's what's hurting the Steeler team. But I do want to hold some players accountable as well. DK Metcalf, pointing the fingers in the face at the end of the game when we needed to actually score. We were actually in the game. Embarrassing stuff. Stupid stuff. Why we continue to get divas on this team is beyond me also. I also think it is a part of coaching. We can never control our guys. We just let them do whatever we want. It's really embarrassing. DK Metcalf doing that. We knew DK Metcalf going into the Steelers that he was going to be a diva. Hey, point it out though. You're a hater. Point it out. You're this or that. But we knew DK Metcalf is a diva. We had to control him. He was not really any better than George Pickens when it came to personality. All right, we knew that. And George Pickens is having a pretty solid year in the Cowboys. All right, not hearing too much of George Pickens compared to DK Metcalf when it comes to personality. It's getting old. It's really embarrassing. It's childish. Why we have NFL players who have been in the league for a while, grown men, acting like divas, is beyond me. But Steelers fall to 4-3. We got the Colts next week. The Colts are on fire. Danny Dimes, unbelievable stuff that he's doing right now, playing great football. I would never expect that. I mean, he's in the MVP talks. Jonathan Taylor, best running back in the league right now. It's going to be a rough one. It is going to be a rough one. It's at home. Doesn't even matter anymore, right? We saw last night the Packers were having chants louder than the Steeler fans. Can't have that happening. Just an embarrassing time for the Steelers once again. But yeah, I don't see us beating the Colts. I mean, we'll somehow find a way to beat the Colts and then lose to probably the Bengals again or the Bears or the Browns. But it's going to be a tough one. I see Daniel Dimes throwing 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor having over 100 yards. Just how it is. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. I'm out, guys. Peace.